Right.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Wednesday, April the 19th, and we got some free picks in the NBA playoffs for Thursday the 20th. Yesterday, if you were with us, or I should say yesterday's games went 2-0 for us as me and Doug Upstone cashed in on both plays with Miami and Cleveland. I cashed in with my pay selections on Miami and Cleveland. And these gentlemen on the other side of me here, I'm sure that they have something good to talk about. Let's hope so anyway. If anybody doesn't have anything good to talk about, it's the rant man himself, Sean Higgs. Welcome back, Sean.
Thank you. I am back. Took a few days off. I had to take care of family business the last week or so. Sometimes, but you want to get back into one. I was out of state, so you like to just be home anyway.
Yeah.
But I put games out while I was away, just some baseball and a couple NBA stuff like that. I finished up, one a little bit, 8-4 yesterday with MLB, which is good. But it's good to be home. You want to get back in the flow of everyday life, get the kids back into everything. It's like, yeah. But yeah, baseball's doing well, and NBA. What I have, I forgot who I did. I think I split my NBA the other day. I went 1-1, and today we got the free pick, but I also like the Lakers. I got the Lakers at even money the other day here. So, and the Heat. I got the Heat at +9 when it opened up. Are they today in Miami? I don't even know.
Yeah,
I was concentrating on the Kings and Warriors. For the
because we're always working a day ahead, folks. So
yes,
it can get a little bit confusing. But one guy who doesn't seem to ever be confused is Mr. Jesse Schule. How are you, Mr. Perfect?
Well, I'm glad to see Sean back with us. I don't know about you, Ross, but I think we missed him the last few days or the last week, and it's good to have him back. And yeah, I'm doing well, coming off another winning day, and feeling good about everything moving forward.
There you go. And I went 2-0, like I said yesterday in the NBA. NBA playoffs right now, 7-3. The play-in round, I went 4-3, 11-6 in the postseason overall, and not good with my totals, 1-5. But my NBA sides in the postseason so far are 10-1, folks, including yesterday. So, doing awfully well in that regard. And as these guys will tell you, it's tough to win, and when you're winning and winning good, soak it up and take advantage. So we move on, because everything I've done before and these guys have done before means nothing. It's what we're doing going forward. In any event, any shocks that you've seen so far in the NBA playoffs in terms of from a betting perspective, or anything with totals, or anything that we're seeing as a trend that might not be able to sustain? Anything in that along those lines, Jesse?
Well, injuries, I guess, are the headline right now. I mean, me and you put out the video yesterday, and I gave out the Bucks for the first quarter, and we were assuming that Giannis was going to play, and now it looks like he's not going to play. Ja Morant is, I don't know if he's like 50-50 to play today, which is disappointing that all these star players are going to miss time. So yeah, I guess that's the thing that stands out to me. I will mention though, Ross, I like the Bucks even more. The lines come down. My play on the first quarter stands. You're going to get that at a much better price now that Giannis may not play, and I still think the Bucks are going to come out hard and fast with or without Giannis.
Yeah, I would assume he's not going to play, because I believe the line is 5.5 now. When we did speak yesterday, it was 9, so that led us to believe that Giannis was going to play. But so goes the fluid situation in the NBA. We like to think it's going to be much different in the NBA playoffs as opposed to the regular season, and it will. But, injuries like this do occur during playoff time, and you could bet when these guys, star players, sit out in playoff games, it's a legitimate injury, as opposed to the regular season, and we've already beat that to death. And Sean, I don't want you to beat it to death anymore.
I'm not gonna beat it to death. I was gonna agree with you. Like, if a guy's sitting out now, he is generally hurt, and you got to think about that guy going forward and the team going forward. So Yeah, that's one thing I was going to say about the injuries. Definitely different than load management. You see the hockey guy yesterday took a skate off the face.
Yeah,
Came back.
75 stitches.
Came
Wow.
back and played the same game.
That's-
And he got Zion he's been out since January because his leg hurts. I mean, stop. And then real fast on my NBA rant. They're going to do that. They want to do that mid-season tournament. Is this a joke? These guys don't. How is that going to be? They don't play enough to have a mid-season tournament. And then somebody gets hurt in the fake mid-season tournament for whatever reason they have a mid-season tournament. I don't even know. That's a halfway participation.
I don't get that.
What is that for? What is that about?
I don't get it. You know what I mean? If it just makes
Stop
no
already.
sense whatsoever.
Stop.
Look,
Contract the season. Bring it down. End it.
You want to have a world
draft.
championship tournament in the middle of the season with 7 or 8 different countries represented. That's one thing. But I mean, an NBA tournament in the middle of the regular season when the season's already 82 games long and far too many games that results in these guys sitting out a plethora of games. Some of these guys for the smallest injury, or the new phrase is load management. Boy, oh boy, we'd like to have load management.
And you get to go. I love the fact that you had who went into a luxury box, who went into an owner's box, or one of the luxury boxes. They complained about getting heckled. Bro, real simple. If I'm retire, if you can't take heckling, the guy who's paying $10,000 a seat in a box, to probably cost $60,000.
Yeah,
bro, don't play the game. You're going to eject guys I got my clown coming up in green and Golden State. He gets thrown out and wants to yell at the crowd. Bro, quit. Just stop it. Just don't play.
Be one of the most blatant fouls that are nasty acts that I've seen in a long time. There's been worse, but Draymond Green, I don't know what he's thinking. I start to feel like when I watch this guy and his antics sometime that he lacks mental stability. He definitely lacks poise.
I don't mind him playing tough ball. You want to listen? That's the way I grew up playing and watching the game.
Stepping on a guy's stomach when he's
I
down.
was stepping
and then
down.
arguing like it was a natural step.
If you were pulling away, you would have fallen backwards. You wouldn't have stepped down.
He actually stepped on him and then jumped off of him. You know, like he was a springboard. And I don't know.
I'm not a Golden State Warrior fan anyway. We'll get into that in a second.
I'm not a Draymond Green guy, that's for sure.
I think he's one of maybe 3 guys in the last 10 years of the NBA who could probably play in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah, he would have fit right in with the Detroit Pistons.
He's tough, and he actually scored a little bit back in the day too. So he wasn't terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Jesse, any thoughts on that incident you'd like to add and what the absence of Draymond Green, again, this is Sean's game to talk about. We could touch upon this further, but the absence of Draymond Green, big deal or not for Golden State in Game 3?
I mean, it's a big deal. He's a valuable piece of the puzzle, but they've got a lot of guys they can throw in there. They're back home. I mean, I know which way I'm going to be going on that game, but we'll let Sean give his take. But as far as the violence and Draymond Green's dirty play, I think Sean said it the best. This guy could play in the 80s, and that's the era of basketball that's the way I like to see the game played. So the more of that, the better for me. I'm not that I condone stepping on guys or kicking guys when they're down, but I don't condone crying about it that loudly either.
Well, there's a lot of people out there watching that are very good at kicking you when you're down, Jesse. All we need to do is lose a few in a row, and everything we've done over the last 3 weeks is null and void. So anyway, we're used to that, and we get paid a hell of a lot less than them guys in the NBA do. So
well, that's what I was thinking when Sean said if you can't take the heckling. I mean, you try being a professional handicapper for a living, you're going to get heckled a few times.
You pay us what you pay the NBA players, and you can call us every name in the book.
Exactly.
So, and then
call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
That's it. Right. Exactly. So, all right. So we're going to get into the 3 games. Let's start with Mr. Higgs because he's been away from us for so long. He has Golden State and Sacramento. And right now, Golden State is a 5-point favorite, a total 239.5. Golden State finds themselves down 2-0 in this series. And it was no fluke. Sacramento played very well and deserved to win both games, and give them credit. They stepped up big, but how do they do now that they're going on the road against a desperate Warriors team that certainly knows the probability of coming back in a series down 3-0 is slim to none. So what do you think, Sean?
Yeah, well, first, definitely good to be back. I mean, Jersey was nice, but good to be back with you guys and
I'm glad to
doing
have
this.
you, buddy.
Real fast, we'll talk about Draymond Green real fast. 8 points, 7 rebounds, about 7 assists on the season. So he does a lot for this team. He's going to be a big loss. We'll start with that. That's going to be a missing piece. I know it's kind of like guy goes down and he's not playing. I kind of like that team more, right? Because everybody's going to kind of rally around his absence and stuff like that. But let's be honest, the Kings, talk about a disrespected team. They won 50 games this season. Nobody gives them a shot to win a thing. I think just to win this series, I think they're minus like a 115 or 120 I saw. You're up 2-0 versus a team that's won 8. What did they win? 10 games on the road or something? I mean,
11.
Golden State is not a good team. They are not a good team here. Zero respect for Sacramento. Now you're going on the road. And yes, you want to take the points. I get it. I like the under here, 239. Yes, the Kings are, what are they, number 1, number 2 offensive team? They score a ton of points. But coming down the stretch here, they allowed 109 or 106 yesterday, or the other, playoff time. It could be a week ago the way they spread these things out. 123 to Golden State, and then 109, 119, or 123, couple 103s and 106s. They can play some defense. At home, it's all right. You're home, you're putting on a big show, and you see it here, right? Golden State 33-8 at home. So yeah, at home a little better. I think it's going to be a defensive game here, much like we saw in their last game. They're a winning road record on a team. So obviously they play some defense. They can play a little defense. So I'm expecting defense. And if you want to grab Kings series, if you can get them at a 120-ish range, take them for the series. You're telling me that Golden State's going to win 3 games, a couple games on the road? No way. No way. Listen, great. They had a great run. Great run. Clay is definitely not the same. And I said I kind of don't like Golden State. It's just because when somebody gets hurt and never the same player, you feel bad watching him play. Clay is not. He might have one of those games once a month where he's vintage. He's not vintage. Your heartbeat, your catalyst of your team is out now. Okay, Wiggins. Really? Wiggins pull these guys? No. Lean Kings under the 239.5. Big number, 239.5. I don't think somebody gets to 120 tonight.
Golden State and Sacramento under 239.5. Jesse, no Draymond Green. A team that's down 2-0 and desperate at home in Golden State, as Sean just alluded to, home and away splits, sort of mind-boggling. Golden State 11-33 on the road, but would you say, Sean, 33-8 at home or something?
Yeah, like 33-8 at home.
So does the home court hold up here, and do they cover the spread, or is it Sacramento that takes them down to the wire or goes up 3-0 in the series, Jesse?
First off, Golden State starts off like a house on fire. So take them for the first quarter. They're gonna really lay the smack down early in the game. Whether they can hold the lead or not, I don't feel as confident about that. Even though I do think they will get their home wins in this series. But as far as Sean's pick on the under, I got to pick up where I left off the other day when we did this game 1 of this series, and the opening total was 238.5. I said the Warriors played 22 playoff games last year, and 20 of them went under that number. So we're sitting at 24 games now, and 21 of them have gone under that number. So yeah, it's rare to see anybody go over 238 in a playoff game, and it's rare for the Warriors. It's just a big number, and it's hard for teams to get to that number, and you're going to win more than you lose betting under those kind of numbers.
Yeah, well, I had the over in game 1, so it did go over the total, and it certainly jumps out to me when I see a total this high when everybody else's totals have really come down, especially when you look at some of the comparative matchups from the early season. You look at some of these totals in games like with Philly with Phoenix and the Clippers, for example. The totals have come down considerably at playoff time. But again, Sean likes the under 239.5. I have no opinion in that regard. I do think Golden State will see a superlative effort from them. I always say when you lose a key player, guys, and I'm interested to hear your take on this. When you lose a key player, okay, Draymond Green only averages a little over 8 per game, 7.7 rebounds, assists, and all that kind of stuff. He contributes not only statistically, but his mere presence and his leadership and his tenacity. You can't measure that. However, my experience has been over the years is when you lose a player the caliber of a Draymond Green, usually more times than not, that team in the first game with his absence usually steps up big because nobody's giving them a good chance or everybody's expecting them not to be at their best and other guys step up and do a great job. Now, usually that's not sustainable though. So we're not talking about a prolonged absence here. I'm assuming it's just a 1-game suspension. I haven't read.
I believe it's 1 game, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in this particular instance, I'm not so concerned with Draymond Green being out of the lineup, which I have a small lean here right now at this particular moment in time. I haven't released anything but a small lean on Golden State in this spot, minus the 5 against Sacramento. Championship pedigree and being down 2-0 in a series. And, Sean, Jesse makes good points. He did this yesterday with the Milwaukee game. He mentioned it again today with this matchup. Teams down 2-0 and coming home usually come out in the first quarter and are flying. It's
do or die. It's your season's on the line.
Yeah, the home crowd behind them. And the hard part is for some of these teams it's being sustainable over the last 3 quarters. But I agree with Jesse's logic there. And I also agree I don't have a strong opinion on the total, but it certainly makes sense what you said, Sean, under 239.5.
And I listen, I agree. Team coming home, you gotta get the win. But the defense, if the other team's going to score, you're in trouble, and that win's going to be in jeopardy. So that's why I lean defense here in a must-win. They're all must-win games, games 3, right? Somebody's down 2-0, or you want to take that 2-1 lead.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jesse, Philadelphia in Brooklyn, the 76ers won handily, both games at home by double-digit margins, covered on both occasions as a sizable favorite, anywhere from 9-10 in both games. Right now, Philadelphia 4.5 and 210 on the road at Brooklyn. And I don't know. This Brooklyn team, give them credit. They've been very competitive after the blockbuster trades when they got rid of Durant and Kyrie Irving. But still, they're a below 500 team since that occurred. I mean, do they have it in them, Jesse, to make this a game against the 76ers? And will the 76ers have the wherewithal to put the hammer down and put one foot on their throat and say, you're almost done here? What's your take?
I'm going to refuse to answer that question, Mr. Benjamin.
Okay.
I'm not going to comment on the final score in this game. I'm going to focus again on the first quarter. We did see Brooklyn come out like gangbusters in the last game. They were tied after the first quarter. They were winning at halftime. Philly was able to rally and really take control of the game. And I think Philly comes into game 3 on the road, very comfortable, full control of the series. It looks like it's either going to be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. There's no sense of urgency for Philly. Joel Embiid was talking smack, even talking, after the game against Brooklyn, he's talking about Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse isn't in the playoffs anymore. Nick Nurse isn't in this series. It says a little bit of how focused he is on the Brooklyn Nets, and it's not very. I think that Philly would be fine letting Brooklyn jump out to another early lead and probably taking it away and doing what they've done, and it may well be a sweep. But my money is going to be on Brooklyn plus money, plus 122 for the first quarter. They're back home. You did mention that I mentioned yesterday. Teams that are down 0-2 heading home for game 3 since 2007 are 79, 47, and 9 against the spread. We get a Brooklyn team plus money for the first quarter. I expect them to look good for at least 15 minutes in this game.
There you go. So teams down 2-0, 79, 47, and 2 against the spread since 2007. You got that from Jesse Schule. Not the first quarter, the whole game, right? 79, 47.
That is, sorry, I believe that's the first half, actually.
First
That
half,
that
okay.
trend is for the first half. I personally prefer the first quarter because sometimes these teams get out to a great start and they can't sustain it until halftime. It's easier for me to see the inferior team starting well for the first quarter than it is the entire half.
Certainly makes sense. And right now, when you look at the numbers, Jesse's claim is backed up with some pretty powerful results in NBA playoff betting history. So there you go. Jesse likes the Brooklyn Nets plus 122 on the money line as a first quarter bet. So keep that in mind, folks. He's not picking them for the game. He's picking them in the first quarter at money line odds of plus 122. Sean, anything you want to add to what Jesse has said on this game, or any feel you have in terms
Yeah, I know.
of game
I-
3 in the series?
I love the first quarter looks in spots like this. Yes. And sidewise, I thought maybe Brooklyn would keep it close out there in Philly. I was kind of like, oh, maybe I'll take Brooklyn plus 8 or 9 here from getting something. I didn't. Thank goodness. They would have been losers. And they haven't won or had a winning record since the trades. But part of me is like, I think they should at least steal one, right? Be competitive in one. You got a team that basically you're the land of misfit toys. Nobody wants you. You're traded for a bunch of, good guys are traded. You want to kind of make a name for yourself. I expect them to be competitive, but it hasn't happened. Can we get a quarter out of them? Like Jesse says, I agree with that, right? You're home. Get a half under your belt, guys. Come on. Show some pride. Don't get swept here. Nobody wanted you. You were traded. And you were the bottom part of that trade, right?
Yeah.
Come on, get up.
And I don't think Brooklyn has any respect for them at this point.
Philly has their Brooklyn.
I don't think Philly has any respect for them. Yeah,
they're looking at it as who we got next. We're gonna kind of just go through the motions and win. They're that much better. Let's be honest. If Giannis is problematic for the injury for the rest of the playoffs here, or who I don't whatever, Philly could definitely be thinking we got a shot here to get to the conference finals and championship here against whoever comes out of West, with Boston.
As long
Boston.
as Joel Embiid stays healthy.
Exactly.
Which has always been a issue in the past. So hopefully he does, because the game is better when our stars are available, healthy, and playing. And that's what turned a lot of people off this year, fans-wise, betting-wise, is the NBA games we saw during regular season action. It wasn't always the stars that were playing all the time. So that takes away from the luster of the matchup, correct? Jesse, do you have a soccer game today?
No, I got steaks on the barbecue, Ross, and I'm hoping the wife's going to pull them off in time.
So I see your eyes shifting, then.
He's got a slow grill going.
Yes, where Jesse is located, the steaks are barbecuing upstairs somewhere to his left. So let's try to get to this last game and get our opinions, and hopefully Jesse gets them off before they're too charred. Anyway, I am going to look at Phoenix and the LA Clippers, and we saw this series go 1-1 in Phoenix as Phoenix bounced back nicely to my happiness yesterday with a double-digit win over the Clippers, covering that 8.5-point spread to even the series 1-1. I'm going to look at the total in this game. The Suns currently 2.5, 228, and I know that Jesse has been harping on these unders throughout the playoffs, and I understand why, because the intensity on the defensive end of the floor certainly ratchets up for all teams at this time of the year. But it doesn't happen in every game, and I don't think it's going to happen in this one. As a matter of fact, the LA Clippers 9-0-1 to the over in their last 10 when there's a total of 235 or less, and that's the case here. As it's at 228, they're also 5-0 to the over at home in their last 5. Those 5 home games average over 242 points scored per contest. The first 2 games of this series. Here's a big key for the Clippers. They haven't shot great at 44% or so, but they've got to the free throw line 60 times in the first 2 games, made 51 of them for 85%. And that's no surprise, because the Phoenix Suns are one of the worst teams in the NBA in terms of preventing teams to get to the free throw line. So they're going to have a plethora of opportunities there. As a matter of fact, Phoenix allows 26 free throw attempts per game. The LA Clippers, 30.5 field goal or free throw attempts per game, and they're 6 versus the Suns this year. So look for that trend to continue. It's always nice when you get free points at the charity stripe. And also the Suns 8-1 to the over in their last 9 on the road, a little over 239 a game. And that includes 5-0 to the over if those road games had a total of 234 or less. So I'm going to go Suns Clippers over 228 in game 3 of the series on Thursday, April 20th. And Sean likes the Golden State Sacramento game to go under 239.5. Jesse, the Nets plus 122 on the money line as a first quarter bet over the Philadelphia 76ers. Jesse, we got very short time here. Any comments on my contest here?
I'd like to congratulate Doug for picking the Phoenix Suns. I know you had them as well yesterday, Ross, but Doug gave them out on the show, and somebody in the comments gave him a hard time about it and said, my man Jesse likes the Clippers, and chalk one up for Dougie. He was right, and I wasn't. But I wasn't convinced by the Suns. The Suns tied up the series. I wasn't convinced by that performance. I still think the Suns have some glaring weaknesses. The bench still looks awful. I'll be taking the Clippers in game 3 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre
Ayton.
He was like, I know late in the fourth quarter yesterday, they were saying the Suns are plus 24 with him in the lineup in the 2 games. And it seems like when he goes to the bench, that's when they go bad. And again, they're going to probably ask a lot more out of him than they did all year long. But eventually, I think that lack of depth from Phoenix, although they have the star power with Chris Paul and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, that's eventually going to catch up to him. I agree, Jesse. And you made that point yesterday when talking about the Clippers and the Suns. All right. And Sean, what do you got going on here, my friend?
Yeah, I was just looking at the box scores the last couple games with them. A lot of free throws, high shooting percentages. I mean, but as both said, how is Phoenix going to be able to keep that up through a 6 or 7 game series? You're relying on Durant to play 40 plus minutes. The guy's off a foot injury again. I mean, I had Clippers both first game and second game, so I kind of lean LA here. I think everybody's high on. You see, they got Durant, they're going to win it. Guy's got to, again, we talk about player health. He's one that could easily roll an ankle and then just crush an entire team spirit. So
him and Chris Paul both.
Right? I mean,
yeah. All right, guys, 30 seconds or less. Jesse, what do you got coming up? And tell the folks anything else you'd like them to know about your sports service.
I am the #1 MLB handicapper at sportsmemo.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Jesse Schule, on YouTube at Jesse Schule Picks, and you can see me at jesseschule.com.
I am the #1 handicapper in the NBA playoffs right now at sportsmemo.com. And you could find me at rbwins.com, rossbenjaminsports.com. My NBA side's 10-1 in the postseason thus far, 11-6 overall. And again, folks, at my website, if you don't win, you don't make a profit. You get credited back the exact amount of your purchase price, and you could use that anytime, any which way you like toward any future purchases. Sean, 30 seconds or less, which I know is extremely difficult for you, but I know you could do it, my friend.
Yeah, Mr. Sean Higgs on Twitter. Midday money, 7 days a week, 12 noon Eastern. Baseball, I think I'm #4 on the sites with my MLB, 84.74, 53%. And the average play is plus 104. So a lot of baseball for me, more baseball than playoff stuff, but I do sporadically put that out.
There you go. MLB, Sean's a big MLB handicapper, puts out a volume of games. And the key component he said there is average money line price on the games he puts out is plus 104, which means that he doesn't have to hit an absorbent win percentage to make a lot of money in Major League Baseball. And his past track history will prove just that. And Jesse, he's #1. in Major League Baseball at sportsmemo.com. So we got a couple MLB gurus. I'm glad you guys are, because I'm off to a horrific start in Major League Baseball, but the NBA is rolling. Anyway, until the next time, for Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs, we'd like to ask each and every one of you, if you have not subscribed, take a second to do so. Costs you absolutely nothing, no strings attached, no hidden agenda. You're just get to listen to guys who got a lot of years in this industry and been quite successful, not only us three, but Doug Upstone over at DocSports.com as well. Until the next time, folks, good luck, God bless, and take care.